to you with talk to you with a week away.
I know, yeah. It feels like
Yeah,
forever ago now, doesn't it?
I know, but that's uh I'm one of the biggest week away fans there is. I love it.
Get
I
out of here.
I watch it all the time. I do.
You're the man. That's
Listen
awesome. I appreciate it.
listen to the music, all that stuff. It's just a great movie from all the way around. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
so I've kind of been cheering you on, since a week away. I thought it was really a great move, to kind of move into music, especially, with Capital after that, because I think that was a good springboard. And that's why I thought it would be cool to connect today.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Capital has been really great to me. And they've let me have a lot of creative freedom and be able to speak my heart in the music. And it's really going well. It's a bit of a departure, this new stuff from the last stuff. But I think, people are going to be able to relate to it just as much. I'm leaning into the pop more, because that's who I am, and a lot of my influences are pop artists, but at the same time, like speaking to my faith and still keeping it centric to my beliefs, and like songs like "Blessed" or um, "I'm Not There Yet," where I'm writing it with some of the biggest songwriters in Christian music, but they're really helping me speak it in a way that is accessible, similar to the way that like a week away was, where it's mainstream and massive pop.
Right, right. Yeah, well, cool. So you're releasing a single on Friday, and that's from the full project. Is that correct?
Yeah, that single's called Bless, and that will lead up to another single in December, and then the full project in January.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, yes. So, tell me a little bit about the song "Blessed." Then.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I wrote Blessed probably 2 years before the rest of the project. So it was written during a different chapter of my life. And I went through a lot after I wrote Blessed and leading up to the rest of the project. But I remember going into the studio one day with my executive producer. His name is Sean Cook, and another artist. His name is Sam Rivera, who also has like a faith-based project. And we just started talking about like we wanted to write something upbeat, fun, light, but still speaks to the tone of the room that we were feeling that day, which is we were just grateful to be there and be together. And it was a beautiful day. We were grateful to be alive. And it's just the little things like that you know we were feeling blessed for those little things. And sometimes it's just an acknowledgement of the little things, as opposed to like, oh, I have all these desires about the future, or all these wants and wishes, and on all that I don't have, and the unattainable. And it's even like, I'm pretty sure there's scripture on it too, which talks about like before you pray or ask about what you don't have, like take a minute to realize what you do have, essentially. And so that's like what bless is about. It's realizing all that we have to be grateful for. And lately, yeah, I'm feeling blessed.
And create music in uh, there's so much right now that's in Christian music that's mostly worship oriented, and to do pop, I think is important because that's an entry point for a lot of listeners. It's not somebody who has never listened to Christian music before may not just immediately go into a worship. Pop was what got me listening to faith-based music myself. So I think it's a really good step there.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And like I said, I wanted it to be true to me. And at the same time, like I, the Christian music industry there's so many great artists and songs that for someone who doesn't really, for the listener who is not familiar with it, it's what you said. It's a great entry point to sort of like to have a crossover project like mine that sort of leads the way into these themes, and it's clean, it's inspiring, it's faith-based, and it opens up the door to this type of music. And there are other artists who I've worked with in the past who are doing it really well, in my opinion, and who are just like super talented. Like I'll give you an example. Torrin Wells is one of them.
Oh yeah, I love Torrin. Yeah.
Yeah, where his his music is, you would think it's just straight up pop music, and it is. But at the same time, he's singing about things that are like about his faith and centric to that part of his life. Colton Dixon is another one. I toured with him
Yes.
a bit, and he does the same thing where it's like if you didn't know any better and you heard it on the radio, it just sounds like a pop song. But at the same time, he's songs like "Build a Boat." You could be like, oh, well, is that Noah's Ark? Like
Yeah.
there's a ton of hidden meaning, you know.
Yeah. My daughter just walked by, and I think she wants to say, "Hey," because she's wearing a week away shirt here.
I
I don't
love it. Oh my
know.
God. Yeah, good enough. Hi. What's your name? What's your name? It's nice to meet you. I'm Kevin. Your dad's pretty awesome. You and I are shooting the breeze.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't realize she was going to put the shirt on and come by.
It's awesome. It's nice to meet you.
Hey, she knows I love the movie too.
Ah.
We all watch it. Um, but the other single, what's the next one? Did you say?
So there's Blessed. And then after that, we're going to release a single called I'm Not There Yet. And that's a bit of a change of pace. If Blessed is sort of this like, you could argue it's like a radio type single, but I'm Not There Yet is like a guitar ballad with there's like strings in there, and it's a much more outwardly vulnerable song than Blessed is. I mean, they're all of the songs are vulnerable to an extent. You know, this whole project is. I was very clear and adamant about being as open as possible about my story and everything I've been through. But I'm Not There Yet specifically, like for me, is a message to basically I've been struggling a bit with mental health lately, and it's something that can be a bit taboo of a conversation, but at the same time, I think we all can relate, and we all have our own experience with it to an extent, and so I want to like destigmatize it a bit and share about it in my music, like overcoming some of these struggles. And I'm Not There Yet is basically like talking about all the progress I've made, but I'm not there yet, and that's okay. Maybe I'll never be there. It's a lifelong journey. And I think that can be applied to things outside of mental health too, like whatever someone is working on in their lives, or something they want to change in their lives. It's like you may have done a lot of work already, but you may not be there yet, and maybe we're never there. So that's kind of what that song's about.
Yeah, mental health has been such a big topic over the past few years. I mean, during the shutdown, it was a big topic for me. This sensitivity, of my position as I was on staff at a church, and so we were constantly like, everybody doing okay, how you feeling? But even since then, things keep coming back to it. I don't know if you saw Zach Levi's book, the book that came out last year. I read it in anticipation for an interview with him, but it's all about his mental health journey. It was really, really honest and vulnerable. So it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
excellent.
I'm actually, one of the things I'm working on, I was so inspired by this journey that I went through with mental health, and being able to funnel it into my music was very therapeutic. But on top of that, I kept thinking like, this can't be all that I can do on this issue. And you're right, it is so prevalent in 2023, and it's a growing issue. And so I thought, like, with my voice and being somewhat of a public figure, and having shared about it in my music and being open about it with press and things like that, maybe there's a way that I can give back in the mental health community. And I had this idea to create a 501c3, a mental health nonprofit. So I'm actually in the process of developing that alongside my music and acting career. But I'm hoping that it can come together, and that I can make a difference in the community.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. I appreciate you doing that.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Let me
you.
ask you about, because you've had this background with Disney, and the first time, like, when Week Away came out, I knew you had this Disney background. Week Away is as a faith project, and then you go to faith music after that. Was that at what point in the journey did you say, I'm going to lean into the, the inspirational side of, and kind of put my faith in my
Yeah.
creator?
I think the truth is when I was working at Disney, I was still very much faith was still a part of my life.
Yeah.
And I remember like speaking to people on set and different colleagues at Disney, because Disney, like there is a Christian community at Disney as well.
Right. Right.
And yeah, and I remember that being a big part of my life. It wasn't quite reflected in the nature of the projects I was doing for Disney. Obviously, they weren't like strictly faith-based projects. They were more geared towards like, children's and kids television programming. Um, so when I did come across a week away script and feel like I had a chance to be a part of something like that, I always felt like it was something that was in part honest to who I was. And now I'm just post a week away leaning into it more um, in my work. And, I don't believe it limits me in my ability to like, oh, like I'll give you an example. I shot a thriller movie that will likely have an R rating. So it's like, obviously, it's a different kind of experience than shooting like a faith-based project, but it's as an actor, I'm still an artist who is experimenting with different types of acting, right? Like I want to be able to play a character who's being hunted by a serial killer. As crazy as that is, it's like that's the job, that's the art. And it's so different from the faith-based stuff. So I love jumping into faith-based stuff because it feels so like fulfilling for my heart, like I might be shooting another faith-based project when the strike is over, which I'm excited about. I can't go into detail yet on that, but it's a really beautiful script and I enjoyed it. But then on top of that, it's like at the same time I'm auditioning for horror movies or romance movies, and that's the same with my music. The music, what's cool about it is that I own it. They're my masters, right? So I get to have creative control over what I want to say. And what I want to say is clean, inspirational, uplifting, faith-based. Like that's what I want to say in my music.
Right.
But I realize I'm an actor and I can't quite control if someone casts me in their horror movie, like I'd love to do the job because I love acting. But at the same time, I don't have the creative autonomy if it's not my script, So it's a balancing act and that's why I love the music, because I can speak that truth in my faith. And it is the one creative outlet I have that I don't even really have in acting all the time, dependent on whether or not it's a faith-based film.
Well, your co-star, Kat Sterling, she just got bit in half.
Exactly. I know. I saw that. I know that. So funny to me. Yeah, it's the same thing with her. It's like she's like the sweetest girl you'll ever meet, and she was so excited about a week away. And I know faith is a big part of her life, but at the same time, she happened to be cast in this horror movie, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to take the job." But
yeah, and
it's pretty funny.
I follow her on Twitter, and I've kind of felt bad. I kept hoping to distract him because I know, like, if I was in her spot and a movie like that was opening, I want to tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
Talking about
Makes
it.
for a cool story.
Huh?
It makes for a cool story to go from a week away to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you're on Winter Jam. Tell me a little bit about that. My friend, I'm good friends with Russ Lee, and
Oh, I love Russ.
he's one of my favorite people ever. I mean, he's so encouraging.
That man is he's so caring and he's so considerate. He's one of the nicest people that I met on the tour.
Right.
And every time, because it's his tour essentially, right? Like New Songs tour. So every time that they bring me in on Winter Jam, I just get greeted with open arms and the utmost, love and respect. And they treat me like one of their own, and they don't have to do that. And the fact that they go out of their way to do, like Russ, it just means the world. So he's a great guy, and
He's
I'm just that dude.
amazing. Every time I hang around him, I feel like he he lifts you up so much. I think, man, I could run for president or whatever. I mean, like he really believes in really charges you up, so to speak. Just energizes your spirit so much. So
That's very kind.
I wish I could have seen. I wish I could have seen Winter Jam, but I didn't. I didn't catch it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I love going on Winter Jam, and anytime they ask me, I'm in. I mean,
Yeah,
no questions asked. And it's such a great community, the people there, and I will say, like, that's the one thing I love about Winter Jam is that every time I go in there, I feel like I'm reassimilating into a familiar family. Um, and then on top of that, the fans, like, holy cow, the fans have been so incredible on that tour. I mean, every show that we play, I remember the first time I did it, it was the a week away press run. We were doing a performance. And then the second time it was me as an artist, my own music. And there was, I mean, both times that I did it, they were so excited to see me and so receptive. And I had this line after every show at my merch booth, and it just like stretched around the corner. And I'm like, I can't believe this. Like these fans are just so supportive. And the fact I don't think I would get that on any other tour. And it's just a testament to how great the Winter Jam community is,
yeah,
and how supportive they've been of me and my projects as well.
yeah.
Boys.
Good to talk to you. Thank you, Jennifer, so much.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Have a great day.
All right. Bye, everyone. Bye bye.